4thandjawn.com. I'm sitting here with Brenden, Deeg. I am Gayle, Saunders, and tonight we're talking about 3 things we'd like to see from the Eagles after the bye. How you doing today, Brenden?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I put an article out on 4th and Jawn today. I was kind of reminiscing today. I kind of missed the Eagles a little bit after during the bye. It was nice to have a little break, but I'm ready for this weekend. Been waiting all week, or been waiting all year for this game. This is definitely one everyone circles in the calendars, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the biggest games of the season. I think the fans are waiting for it. I think the Patriots players are waiting for it. They're reminiscing. Oh, maybe they're not reminiscing. They're thinking back to the the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think this is a game that they have circled in their calendar. But it's a big game in terms of the season and how this team progresses moving forward. Some of the things that happen in the first part of the season, it's definitely, whether it be the wide receivers or, some of the defensive play or just the team starting slow, this is where it brings us to this moment where, we need to see something more after the bye. Yeah. Starting off at the top, what's your number one thing you'd like to see from the Eagles?
Well, my first thing I want to see from the Eagles after the bye is very straightforward. Catch the ball. No more of these 3-drop games, 2-drop games. I can't take it anymore, Gayle. The wide receivers have got to step it up. It's that simple. The Eagles have 12 drops this year. That's tied for 4th most in the league. It's unacceptable. That trend cannot continue. And you know what? They have looked a little better in recent games, I must say. I don't think they actually had a drop game. It's getting a little better, trending on the upwards, but they definitely need some contribution from the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey and Aguilar combined are going to not even pass 1,000 yards this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or they're struggling. And you know what? 2,084 receiving yards is what they have combined total. And you know what? That's just not enough. Carson Wentz needs a little more help. The Eagles are 23rd in the league right now in receiving yards. 7 of the 9 teams below them are winless or have a losing record. So it's a trend that needs to stop. If you're not going to be able to catch the ball and get some yards over there, it's not going to happen. Playoffs this year. I think that's the number one thing. They need Carson Wentz needs some help. They need to get better on the outside.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I'd like to see from the wide receivers. I mean, production from the wide receiver group. It's imperative just to have some kind of outside production. You think about how much defenses look at the Eagles' offense, and it's tight end centric, and the middle of the field is where they kind of dominate. And with the running backs and such, having outside production, moving those safeties back is so imperative. I think the confidence level, just Alshon Jeffrey brought a level of swag to the group. He was super confident. If you look back to last season, having that drop in the New Orleans Saints game, it might have shooken his confidence a little bit. It was a sneaky need for me at the beginning of the season for the wide receiver depth. After I was thinking, after Alshon, Deshaun Jackson, and Aguilar, if those guys go down, what kind of production are we going to have? And my nightmare came true in the fact that we're missing some guys. Deshaun's not here. Who do we have to step up on the back end of the roster? And we haven't seen that, or we haven't seen the offense or the coaches. We haven't seen them being able to, work these guys in, scheme these guys up some touches. You have guys like Matt Collins on the back end of the roster, who's getting a significant amount of times of playing time, and he's getting praised for his alignments. And not catching the ball or anything. He hasn't been catching since September. So I'm right there with you. Wide receiver production.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't even get me started on the Matt Collins thing. I can't. It's It's one of those things where the coaches are clearly know it too. They know what they've got. You can hear them. You can hear them in press conferences and interviews. Oh, Matt Collins is he's done a good job blocking, or he ran a good route. It's not enough. You know what I mean? You need some production has to be something has to happen after that third wide receiver. Even the third wide receiver, Nelson Aguilar, hasn't been doing much. He's more almost like a gadget player now. If you watch him on the field, he's not even being utilized anymore. that was our leading receiver in the Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
he's completely gone.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to that Super Bowl game and you see that kind of production and you see the kind of confidence. Like, he was attacking the football, catching the ball at its highest point, just going up and just fearless. Now, you see him on, shot plays down the field, he looks like lost out there. And it's like, you're an NFL receiver getting $9+ million. But that has to change. And moving on to your number 2 thing you'd like to see from the Eagles.
My number 2 is give me some better defense. I know it's a very broad term, but I want you guys to hear me out here. This whole defense this defense as a whole has been very, very, very average. Like, we're in the middle of the pack in all categories except for run stopping. I know run stopping has been it's been one of the only upsides so far at the beginning of the season. But if you kind of take a look at the running backs we've seen Dalvin Cook. Yes, we did shut him down, but clearly that didn't work in the big scheme of things. And then we saw Ezekiel Elliott, who completely torched us. Those are the 2 top 10 running backs we've seen. We haven't really seen many good running backs, so I think that stat might be a little flawed. If you look just in besides the run stopping, we're 10th. We're 13th in takeaways and 15th in sacks this year. It's again middle of the pack. Those are the 2 stats that I want to see up. I want to see us in the top 10. When we had our Super Bowl run in 2017, I know I'm always going back to that, but we were in the top 10 in both of those categories, sacks and takeaways. And that's how you win games, man. Get after the quarterback and taking the ball away. Those are the 2 biggest stats, in my opinion, on defense. And the teams that are always in the top 10 of those categories always end up in the playoffs. I think it's going to come down to Fletcher Cox and Derek Barnett. I want those 2 guys to up their game. I know Fletcher Cox was probably a little banged up at the beginning of the year. You can see his game kind of starting to go on. He's had a couple back-to-back really good games. And Derek Barnett's been playing well, but I just feel like that was our first-round pick 2 years ago, right? I want to see that extra juice from him. I want to see that kind of star potential that we all think he can have. You know, he's got a high motor. It's just the numbers aren't there and the play hasn't been there this year as much as I want it to be. I feel like if those 2 guys can step up and become a legit top 5, top 10 edge rusher, top 10 interior rusher, I feel like, man, this defense can take us can lead us to the playoffs. We don't need to rely that much on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. There's some fans that want more from Barnett. There's some fans that I feel like he's been bringing some pressure. I think he's just maybe has to get a couple more sacks here and there, but he has caused a lot of pressure as of late. Coming off that injury during the off season, he was healing up from that. But I think overall, the last couple games I felt a little bit more comfortable with the defense now that the secondary, they have their players they want back there. And I feel like the communication's a little bit better, and I feel like Schwartz is doing some different things. But now, they let go Sendejo, and now they're using 4 cornerbacks in big dime situations. That could be interesting. I mean, they were playing some little press in man situations. That was nice. That's something I've been harping on. But number 2 for me, I really think identity. Coming out of the bye, I think it's soul-searching time for players and coaches. And whether it's play calling and getting your act together, playing these calls, and Doug Peterson and finding an identity where you know your team, you know where your strengths are, play to those strengths, whether it be the offensive ground and pound game of Miles Saunders and Jordan Howard, who's been leading the way. I think if that's where your strengths are, with the 2 tight end sets, play action, misdirection, tight end screens, running back screens, hopefully get some production from the outside, some wide receivers. But I feel like if they stick to that identity, you see the numbers when they run the ball over a certain number of times. They're winning games here, controlling the clock. That time of possession is key, especially for a guy going up against a guy like Tom Brady. You got to keep him off the field. So if those are your strengths, I'd like to see offensively. I'd like to see the Eagles, embrace that and call the correct plays moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool to see you got Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders in the backfield a couple times, basketball games at the same time.
Yeah,
that's I like that formation. I like anything that will keep Matt Collins off the field. If you run 12 personnel, you can have 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. I heard a stat. The other day. The Eagles are averaging like 7.5 yards a play with the 12 personnel. That's good. That's a solid top 10 offense right there. If you can keep that up, like that, you should be that should be what Doug Peterson, Jeff Setlin, and the guys. That's what this should be pushing for more.
Yeah. So number 3. What's your number 3?
And
your final one. This is a big one, man. It's the last one.
I know it's gonna take some heat for this one. I'm one of the biggest Carson Wentz fans out there. Everyone knows that. However, I want to see some 2017 Carson Wentz in this last 7 games. I know that's it's another broad one. However, look, if the Eagles are going to make the playoffs, they got to beat Seattle or New England. They got to take one of these two. You got to do it. I don't think you can lose these two. Go to 5-6 and run the table. I don't think that's going to happen. That's not the way. That's not the recipe for us to make the playoffs. You got to win one of these 2 games. And you know what? I don't think it's too much to ask for Carson Wentz to step up and have one of those 2017 games where he steal a game for us. He's been good. He's been a good player. He's been in my opinion, a top 10 quarterback this year. He's been steady Eddie. He hasn't turned over the ball. But it's just been there hasn't been the popping moments. In 2017 his highlight reel was stacked. There was making plays all over the field. It hasn't been there for me. It hasn't been that excitement from Carson Wentz as much as I want it to be. I know he's been all you can ask for. I want to see the 2017 version with the highlights and you got Russell Wilson, you got Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. They're kind of taking over the hype of the quarterbacks around the league, and I feel like Carson Wentz should be there and he needs to be there, and he can. I feel like he's got to steal us a game. And if he can do that, that would be huge. I know the weapons aren't there. I know it's not like he had the weapons in 2017. I get that. I understand that. However, there is enough there. You got Miles Sanders, you have Jordan Howard, and you got a top 5 duo tight ends in the league. Probably the best tight end duo in the league. He's got to step up, in my opinion, and get to that maybe a little next level. I'd like to see that. But you know what? I know it's going to take some heat because I'm a huge Carson Wentz fan, but
it's all good.
Yeah, I'd like to see that next juice on him. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I mean, we didn't talk about this like this. It's one of my things moving forward is really looking at Carson Wentz in a maturation process. Being it, he's been in the league for a little bit now. You want to see that progression, and exactly. I feel like when you look at some other quarterbacks in the league, when you talk elite, in terms of money and the money he's getting paid, there comes expectations.
Exactly.
So, winning some of these close games with big plays, whether it be shot plays or, being super accurate with the ball when you need to be, and not missing a couple throws here and there, it's imperative to, in close situations, close games, as the leader of the football team and the leader of this offense, there's times where you have to, take over. And
yeah, exactly. So if you kind of do a broader scheme of the beginning of the year, that Atlanta game, he threw 2 big interceptions at the beginning of that game, and I know Aguilar dropped that ball, but if he doesn't have those turnovers, we could have easily won that game. That Dallas game, he got sacked by Lawrence. He's been there, he's been a top 10 quarterback. I don't know, there's something missing here, for me. With Wentz, there's something not there that I want to see.
Yeah, and I had put out a tweet today about the just the whole, it's hard for people to talk about Wentz without talking about Foles. I mean, it's a conversation that I'm not typically having because it's old news. I really feel like it's more about Wentz turning into the quarterback we think he is. It's not a Foles Wentz thing. It's more of we've seen what Wentz can do now. We want to take it to the next level. And I think as coaches and players and fans, you always want to see the best foot forward from your football team. But if you guys want to read that article, it'll be in the description box. But Brenden, let everyone know where they can find you on socials.
So my Twitter is @EaglesTalk_ on Twitter. Give me a follow. And yeah, I'm really excited for this weekend. I think. I got confidence in this game. I do.
How confident.
Yeah. I think if we don't turn over the ball, we can pull off the W. I think if it's that easy. I know it's tough to. It's hard to ask, but like if you can hold on to the ball against the Patriots, they have a good shot. I'm fairly confident.
Well, I'm confident. The one thing Alshon Jeffrey being if he's not playing, it's definitely going to be interesting because you thinking about Bill Belichick and taking away your best assets. It's going to be really interesting. If Howard is out, that's another story. I was pretty confident before I heard the news. I think it's definitely going to be a tough test if we don't have some of our key guys. But I feel like the Eagles have been there and done that. They've won big games when they've been the underdog. And this is exactly where this team likes to, for some reason, they like to play in this gray area of being a champion and an underdog. I feel like they're going to embrace it. They're at home, and I think that the fans are going to be rowdy. I think any Eagle fans, if you guys want to go to the Eagle, if you're going to the Eagle game, we'll 4th of Jawn, we'll be having a tailgate. We'll be located in F1. But you guys can find me on socials at Eagle Sessions on Twitter. That's where I spend most of my days. But that's all from me, Brenden. Any final words for everyone?
That's it. Go Birds.
Go Birds, and we'll see you guys soon. Fly, Eagles, fly.